Stay put, my boy, the train is on its way. I said stay put, my boy, each dog has its day. Stay put. She called me a bitch, it's been years how I spot her. Seen how much of a bitch I be, buried her soul. When I blocked her, I contemplate they mental health, but for sure I be no doctor. I bet he will still fuck a lame, I doubt that will ever change. Is there any hope as I sit up at the end of this bed? Tired of the re-up, covers got me losing sleep instead. Thinking about little niggas with no education, no rap sequence, teeth fucked up. Don't know about insurance or family dentist. Piece of the sky opens up, he realizes enough for what he's born with, anger. Mixes it in one hell of a cup. At times I sit and ponder about the opportunities I never had. Even though I'm borrowing time, most niggas will never have. I guess 2020 is the golden year for me. 27 on my jersey claiming clarity. I gonna reach the mountaintop, you just wait and see. I'm coming back into myself, good vision and good health. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga when he widened up his nose. I seen a dream hit a nigga. He stood there declaring what was already his. Even though time seemed to slow, there he was, train lights shining on him like showbiz. He stayed woke long enough to see it. Ha! The train is on its way. The train is on its way. I told you, young man, every dog has its day. Stay put. Pick up my bags, I be free at last. Don't wanna hear another word from my bum ass past. I graduate to know what's fate and what's a fantasy line. I done walked the wrong path maybe a couple of times. Stepping through, I hope to see windows and green leaves. Freedom of speech, sunshine, rhythm up under my feet. Is it a dream? I check the clock for times like this. People around you can't understand what it means to exist. So make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. I see my time around the world before I'm giving it up. I see myself living for me instead of living for her. That's rare. Two worlds niggas can never compare. Giving time to a world that'll never be there. So get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. And get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. And get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Yeah. Kimbro. Keep your head up. Gotta chase your dreams out the paper. Over time things change. So much bloodshed, it's a shame. Don't know what the future holds. Humble, I'll remain. Don't replace fear where trust should be. Right here, should've know what your left think. Don't compare the size, focus on your team. Can't be myself, won't be anything. Grant me peace, I've been patient. Trying to find solutions without foundation. One life, better not waste it. Gotta adjust with the times, be adjacent. What's fair, not equal. And life knows you get no sequel. Sometimes my soul feel conflicted, but I keep my head up, prevent from getting God. Make a dollar, be a God.
Welcome to another episode of Bedtime Stories. Turn my mic up a little bit. Welcome. On this glorious MLK Day, you know, we appreciate everybody rocking out with Bedtime Stories. Man, the last reel I uploaded is almost at 1,000. It seemed like nowadays when I upload a reel, it just hit 1,000. It just hit 1,000. Every time I upload a reel on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, these days, just seem like it hit 1,000, man. So we want to appreciate everybody, show gratitude to everybody who rocking with us and who gonna continue to rock with us. Once again, this is Bedtime Stories, bro. Go ahead, say what's up to him.
What's up, bro? Bedtime Stories, reporting live and direct. You know what I'm saying? We live on stage, live in the making.
Live on
King
Fade.
Day. Even though I'm a little bit sick right now from the Bears losing yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Sick to my stomach, if you ask me. But I'm here.
Oh yeah. So you know, with that being said, we want to, number one, we appreciate everybody, man. And again, the Bears, that was a heartfelt loss yesterday. You know, I feel like, just real quick on the Bears, I feel like it was deserved just because a lot of the Bears fans don't realize this. You throw 3 picks, it's hard to win a game when you throw 3 picks. And that's the thing about Tom Brady, the Tom Brady's, the Drew Brees, the Peyton Mannings of the world. They gonna make you beat them. Like, they not gonna do nothing to hurt. They may not do every single thing spectacular. Now, mind you, there were some spectacular drives with Peyton Manning and Brady. What I'm saying is they not gonna do too much to hurt you, right? They not gonna throw 3, 4, 5 picks in an NFC game, you know, a playoff game, whatever else.
Yeah, they not, you know. But we're gonna give Caleb a little grace. You know, it's only his sophomore season. You know, very young player. Um, he will learn from this. He will become better. He was going against a 17-year vet in Matthew Stafford, a Super Bowl champion and a future MVP of this league. And he will be an MVP after this year. But like he said, you know, you can't hurt yourself. One thing you can't do is beat yourself. You got to make the team beat you, and you know that's nothing further from the truth. That's the truth right there. So, you know, better luck next year. But we still bear that. We still bear down.
Still bear down. We still bear down, you know. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to this. So what we want to actually, you know, put on the forefront today is MLK and where MLK left off at when it comes to what he truly wanted for himself and also the people around him. That being the African American community, that means he will also speak on a few things that we may or may not have touched on in earlier podcasts. So please, everybody who's with us, please pay attention when you come in the building. Like the video, subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. Like the video, subscribe. Comment. If you disagree with something, comment. For all the people who we truly understand and appreciate, also, that's been rocking with us again, thank you. We gonna keep it coming. We gonna keep it coming. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. First things first, we gonna start the vlog out with this. Okay? We're gonna start the vlog out with this. Now, for those of you who may not know, okay, Dr. King is somebody who has been extremely influential within the Black community. Everybody knows this, not just the Black community, the white community as well. What we want to bring to the forefront within this particular episode of the podcast, you seen the podcast title, The Nightmare. Ironically, we played Dreams. You know, we played Dreams, you know, because that's a hit, you know. But I think it comes, you know, it comes hand in hand. Dreams and also what Martin Luther King wanted for the people. And that's, hey, you know, get your weight up, press, hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Wait, you know what I'm saying? We trying to walk so that we can see ourselves in a better light. So without further ado, bro, I'm going to play this clip real quick. I'm going to play this clip.
Okay.
and I want to know from you what you think about this clip. Hold on, it's up. I want the people to see it. All right. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Hang on. Now I'm gonna play it again, but bro, go ahead. What you think about that, bro? What you think about what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. just said?
Well, for people that may not understand what King was saying right there, this is basically the foundation of this country of what's going on today, as you see it in the world today. Um, I use Chicago as an example. So you have the out west, and I'll just use out west as an example, the west side of Chicago. When you have so within like from Kizzy to Oak Park, you can right before Kizzy to Austin, right before you get to Oak Park, it's clearly a difference in revenue. It's clearly a difference in schooling. It's clearly a difference in how the environment looks. It's more liquor stores, more churches inside of the west side neighborhoods. But when you get outside of the west side neighborhood and head into the Oak Park neighborhoods, it's nicer for some reason. It's greener grass, better restaurants, fewer churches, still churches, but fewer churches, fewer liquor stores, more hospitals, more grocery stores. Why is that? For that reason right there that King just spoke on. It's more ample opportunity, and it's designed for it to be ample opportunity. It's better loan, it's better school funding, it's better hospital funding. And if you to a naked eye, you'll think, well, does these people over here, do they care about that community more than the people over here? And no, that's not the case. It's been systematically over time, people have benefited from the government giving out better loaning, better funding, better school programs to people in. I'm not even going to say people in better privileged neighborhoods, but to the fairer skinned people, not to black people. And if you're not aware of that, you would think that Negroes just don't give a damn about that community, or they don't care about what's going on in that community, and that's the furthest from the truth. We care. We care a whole lot. But when you have decades, and I can say decades, but really centuries, it's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years of just misplaced hate, being considered three-fifths of a person. These are the outcomes you have, and right now you have certain Negroes who think that um, it can happen overnight. That change can happen overnight. No, the stuff that King is speaking on, and just that little short segment that we just heard is still profound, and it is magnified today in today's generation. Just look around.
Yeah. Well said, bro. And bro pretty much said everything, but I'm also chime in as well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the video again, and I'm gonna pause it on things that I want to comment on, because this what Dr. King said here may have went over some people's heads. Dr. King was an articulate dude. We're gonna get to this interview that if you have not seen, you probably should have seen. Okay? You probably should have seen. These people, I'm talking about the black community. If you have not seen this, and if you have not seen the next video that we're gonna put up, if you live 50, 60, 70 years old, if you haven't watched these interviews and you haven't adopted the principles and implemented those same things, this message to the core, if you haven't implemented those principles from this message to the core, you got a problem. You should be ashamed of yourself. Because, and I'm going to give my take, but the things that this guy had to do and withstand and also progress towards is monumental, damn near impossible. What he has done is damn near impossible. Now, we won't have a whole bunch of time. We gonna have time in the future to really break down what I mean by that. But think about when you just trying to take your kid to school in the morning and you messing around with your baby mama or your baby daddy and you're fussing with her and you got to get food and you got to actually find means of transportation for you and your little one. Think about what this man had to do to integrate a group of people. I mean, think about that, man. So, yes, today is a federal holiday, and rightfully so. But we're also going to get into what pretty much makes me angry is the fact that many people within the community they've forgotten what the goal is. Old and young, forgotten what the goal is. So I'm gonna comment on this specific video and we're gonna break it down. Forgive me for pausing, but I don't want us to watch this and just watch it and then gloss over it. He said a lot here. Let's take another look. Now, when the slaves, black people, Native Americans, were actually emancipated, and when they came here also, before that, when they came here to America in bondage, they were not given any land. Even when they were emancipated, they were not given anything. Okay? There was a small period in time when the black people, when the slaves actually settled on land that was given back, that was owed to them. That was owed to them through the labor that they had actually implemented within America. That land was garnered to them. Okay? What happened was Andrew Johnson came in, stripped them of that land. So essentially they had nothing to live off on, nothing to live off of, and also it put them in a worst possible position, damn near slavery all over again. The thing was, they said, hey, well, you know what? You won't work for free. You'll work for pennies on the dollar. We'll pay you 3 cents a month, or we'll pay you 8 cents a month, and you got to give 3 of that cent to the slave owner, or they would hire you as a sharecropper, right? Frederick Douglass was a sharecropper. So they would hire you as that and still beat you. Essentially slavery all over again after emancipation. What Dr. King is talking about right here is that the white people who came in, the European settlers, they were given free land to build off of. They were given farmland to build off of for free. This is called the Homestead Act, people. The Homestead Act. Look it up. An act of Congress that allowed and capitulated to white, like you said, you know, his lingo, white peasants, people who are coming over. And when he's mentioning peasantry here, because he also calls black people peasants, that means they don't have anything. So the people who came over who didn't have anything, they gave them land. So when we look forward to that, it takes generations to build true wealth. This is why this is important. We're going to separate the rich and the right now from the wealthy. We're going to separate the people who got a few dollars and who going to die broke. So this is what he's talking about when he mentions that. They got free land, the Homestead Act.
Which meant that it was willing to
stop him. Okay? So he said that they built and gained, they built with government-funded money, colleges, and got free education and expertise. Now, he's talking about before the GI Bill, yes, but during the 1900s, the GI Bill was also implemented. This is years after. People always bring up slavery. We can just discount slavery and talk about everything that happened after 1865. If that's what you really want to do. The civil rights era was preempted because of slavery, because of the start of America. That's why the civil rights era was 100 years plus. That's why it existed in the first place. Jim Crow era, all that. So when you go from slavery, when you go from enacting black codes, when you go from not having no land, and then you go from the GI Bill, which the benefit of the GI Bill was not from the black veterans coming home. Black people didn't see that. The free education, the discounts on education, proper and advantageous home loans. Black people didn't see none of that. So they had to pack themselves into duplex and triplexes because all the houses, the wealthy houses that were supposed to go on this land were already bought out or you couldn't buy it. Now, when he was talking like that, and I'm a put it on so broken, you know, when he was talking like that, hey, they say, hey man, we may have to get you up out of here, man. And last comment, bro, before I have you comment. When he talked about, because bro, you talked about this. You pointed this out. You said how, yeah, you know what? A lot of people believe that black people don't know nothing and don't give a damn about their community, right? That couldn't be further from the truth. When King said, hey, you want to tell us just to lift people up by their bootstraps, but the interview that we gonna see is pretty cruel to say, hey, lift yourself up by your bootstraps to a man who don't have any boots. It's pretty cruel. And when you say that, lift themselves up by their bootstraps, man, black people done did this about 2 or 3 times already. What are you talking about? North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Negro Fort down in Florida. Black people done did this about 2 or 3 times. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Fought the government, built themselves up, established community, dollar circulating around these 3 communities. I'm talking about the value of the dollar was about 4 or 5 times in fold. So much so that they had the military come in and take everything down. It's a threat to democracy. How are black people building themselves up a threat to democracy? It's a threat to the nation's capital. So that's what I really want us to engulf, bro. Engulf the reality of what Dr. King is saying and not just watch a video today. I'm going to put this video up and we're going to chop this mug down and people going to really get the jewels, man. People going to understand what he's saying because a lot of us, unfortunately, we're not educated properly. A lot of us, when we read a word, we don't know what it means. A lot of us take into account a preacher being loud and boisterous and don't say a damn thing. I'm not saying all of them, but this is what we're trying to break away from. And the message that Dr. King is trying to share, he shared it years and years, time and time again. And at the end, that's what he was talking about. That's what he was talking about. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you know, man, you said a lot there. With King though, he trying to what he trying to get people to see is it's a system that's been plaguing this community for generations, and it's not gonna happen overnight. Man, he said something that's so profound. You want black people to pull themselves up, but with no boots. And like you said, we've been in situations before where we have tried to make our own communities, and they come in and bomb it. And even anytime that black people try to do something that's governed by, you know, systematically and try to do things the right way, you know, they take out our leaders. So it's just been such a long standing of injustice that really hasn't done anything but for the black community, but make us shun that and turn away from that. And that's why you see the state and what the black community is in now, where you feel like you only make it if you're trying to rap or if you're trying to be a basketball player. If you know what I'm saying, think of having something, just a good, honest living that's working a regular 9 to 5, not even to say regular, but just a good job that you can pass on wealth into your family. But it's so hard when everybody's coming from nothing. So when everybody has a mindset where I have to try to get it from the mud, I gotta try to get it from ground zero. People don't know that what that does to a person psychologically, and you don't have anybody else to fall on. And if you try to follow somebody else, they'll kick you out of your down. even in your interview that you just recently had with the lovely teacher that you
Kirsten
interviewed, man,
Perry.
it's just,
Yeah,
just a
yeah, the
profound.
counselor, Kirsten Perry.
Yes. Um, she said something that stuck with me. She had her hiccups coming up, but she had a family to lean on. I ain't say fall on, but to lean on when those times got hard. That once she got herself together, she was able to uh, boost through and make all the accomplishments that she did. But she didn't have that family to fall back on. Who knows where she would be? See, black folks, we don't have no family right now to fall back on and get a little guidance. So now, as you see people going through what they're going through, you would think that, oh wait, what's wrong with that person? Why is that person, man? That person don't have anybody to lean on. And people of fair, more of a fair skin tone, white Caucasian people have been uh dealing with beneficial ways of their community that they have decades, real centuries of just economic success to lean on. And you can't substitute that with anything. I can talk to you all I want to. A preacher can preach at you all you want to, but if you don't have the foundation of years and years and years of wealthiness to be able to lean on so you can navigate through life and have your mistakes without you have to hit your head and it swell up, now it's gonna be a different way of living. And we gotta understand that as a black people. Go ahead though.
Yeah, facts, facts. You know, and yeah, man, you said quite a lot, and that means a whole lot to a lot of different people, having something to fall back on, something to cushion your mistakes. You know, um, I got a video right here that we gonna play. Give me a second so I can put it up. And this is MLK Talks New Phase of Civil Rights Struggle, right? This is 11 months before his assassination. And I want people to understand this. He was allowed to live 10 years pushing the love and light concept. The moment he started talking about economic freedom, he started talking about diversity, he started talking about actual progress, truth to promise. He started talking about how people who were actually for the marching grew ambivalence towards actual processes and legislation to help black people economically. He started talking about that. He started talking about how he probably led people into a burning building. We're gonna watch him talk that right here. He didn't most of his interview was about how the younger brothers and the people of today in that era were growing frustrated and that they wanted to see true progress in the name of economic, military, and racist systems. Actual, true, positive progress to help lift up the African American community as a whole. There was not a lot of praying when this guy, and this phenomenal interviewer, by the way, phenomenal interviewer, asking phenomenal questions, a white man. Dr. King didn't mention a whole lot about just getting on your knees and praying. And I want to mention this. Not every single church is doing this. But when it comes to the churches who got, their pastors are now 50 years old, 60, maybe 40 years old. Got some of the older people in there also confused, shook, and just gonna live out all their days believing in false promises, false prophets. So we're gonna watch this without further ado, and we're gonna get some insight on what Dr. King had to say before he was assassinated. Okay? Let's make that clear. Dr. King did not give his life for anything. They popped him off. That's what happened. Okay? They popped him. He was killed. He was assassinated. So please, stop saying he gave his life. He wasn't intending to give his life that day. He probably felt like it was coming. He probably say, hey, you going somewhere, I may not get that with you, but he ain't intending on dying that day. He was assassinated. So Let's go ahead and pull this up, man. Let me let's see what's going on.
Civil rights, King, MLK.
So as you can see, it's 11 months before he was assassinated.
Roll 20, sound 36.
Hey, look out, straight. Hey, he's straight business. Soon as that motherfucker clock down, he's straight business, bro. Straight business. Let's just see that one more, because I
Yeah,
just
he look like a superhuman right there,
right,
don't he?
bro.
Look
Straight
started
business,
look to it,
bro.
but just look like greatness though right there.
Right. Oh man. Okay, so I got some timestamps. We gonna play it all the way through until about 2:15. We don't have all day to do this, but we gonna give you all the nuggets that I actually want to make sure we get. So let's go ahead.
Civil rights, King, MLK. Roll 20, sound 36.
Dr. King, this church is as good a place as any to go back over your commitment to the civil rights movement. When you went out from here into university and then you went to Montgomery, Alabama and started the bus boycotts there, what was the philosophy of the civil rights movement as you saw it then, more than 10 years ago?
Well, I would say then the philosophy was that we must go all out to use legal and nonviolent methods to gain full citizenship rights for the Negro people of our country. Of course, that particular struggle and that philosophy centered on breaking down all of the barriers of legal segregation. So I would say that in that period, the basic thrust for the gaining of citizenship rights for Negroes was to end the humiliation surrounding the whole system of legal segregation.
Dr. King, was there something peculiar to the place where you started and the kind of people you attracted? I mean by that, there was a strong attachment on the part of your parishioners in Montgomery to the church. They were older people, weren't they?
Yes, I would say by and large they were older people who participated in the boycott because they were the ones using the bus more than anybody else. And Montgomery was a community predominantly church-centered, so that it was very easy to get to the vast majority of Negroes because they were in some way connected with a church in the community.
Was there, in addition to your commitment to the idea of nonviolence,
Okay, so we gonna go to. I just wanted him to, pretty much in that part right there. And bro, you could please comment if you need to real quick. I thought I go in that part right there. He was just talking. Hey, pretty much the guy setting up the interview, right? He's saying, hey, within our existing, current, and prior struggle to equality, true equity of voice, and economic freedom. Yes, we've been looking to push. We've had boycotts. We wanted to stop wholeheartedly the humiliation of the system and racism and push forward as a people. So he's just saying yes, man. Like that's still our mission, and we've been doing that. And the people before us are still looking to do that. Go ahead, bro, if you want to comment.
Yeah, yeah, and he was just laying the foundation. Like we wanted to stop the the injustices that was clearly being seen. So like we got to go to the back of the bus. That was a clear injustice. Like man, we can't have that. Not being able to use the same stalls as white people. That was just the injustice that was right in front of our faces. But he was realizing that in those type of injustices, those just minor flames that need to get put out. That, but the big problem was money aspect, the economic aspect of things, housing, schooling, things of that nature. Yes, they did bow down and give us, or we integrated, or you can use this stall, you can ride the front of the bus, but that was minor, and he came to realize, oh, really, you know, you shook my hand in the front door, but you backdoored me on the way out. Basically, is what
Right.
King is saying.
Right. Right. Yeah. Let's see. Let's keep going. So I'm gonna go to a part where we gonna he really gonna get into the nitty gritty, and we gonna expound on some stuff as well.
That's all right.
Many of our citizens and many of the senators.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But isn't that part of the dilemma now? That people knew that Negroes were being denied what was guaranteed to them by the Constitution, by the fact that they were citizens of this country. Then when they were given those rights, do you feel the white community said, well, we've given them all that we have, now it's up to them?
Well, I think the dilemma is much deeper, and I think one during this period of transition has to be very honest with America. And honesty impels me to admit that America has broad racist elements still alive. Racism is still existing in American society in many areas of the society, North and South. And the other thing is that there has never been a single, solid, determined commitment of large segments of white America on the whole question of racial equality. I think we have to see that vacillation has always existed, ambivalence has always existed, and this to me is the so-called white backlash. It's merely a new name for an old phenomenon. I see the white backlash as a continuation of the same ambivalence and vacillation of white America on the whole question of racial justice that has existed since the founding of our nation. I think the other thing that we must see at this time is that many of the people who supported us in Selma, in Birmingham, were really outraged about the extremist behavior toward Negroes. But they were not at that moment, and they are not now, committed to genuine equality for Negroes. It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee an annual income, for instance, to get rid of poverty for Negroes and all poor people. It's much easier to integrate a bus than it is to make genuine integration a reality and quality education a reality in our schools. It's much easier to integrate even a public park than it is to get rid of slums. And I think we are in a new era, a new phase of the struggle, where we have moved from a struggle for decency, which characterized our struggle for 10 or 12 years, to a struggle for genuine equality. And this is where we are getting the resistance, because there was never any intention to go this far. People were reacting to Bull Connor and to Jim Clark rather than acting in good faith for the realization of genuine equality.
Now I want to stop him because he was cooking. A very articulate brother right here. Um, when he talks, he don't say He's barely saying He looking at man right in his eye, speaking with confidence. He ain't looking over here, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? Woo, 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 and all that. You can understand what he's saying. He's articulate. I want to tell you, Dr. Marley, he has a doctorate in theology. I thought it was political science before, but he has a doctorate in theology, a true doctorate in theology. His dissertation, he moved also within speeches. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe in his dissertation and or his speeches, he quotes concepts of Marxism. So he did an actual dissertation. This man is an educated dude. I'm just trying to paint the real picture of a great black man. He didn't just walk up in the church and say, I want to be a preacher. He's respected. He put the work in. He could pronounce words accurately. We understand what he's talking about. He's thoughtful. A couple of things that he says here. He says that there has never been true commitment to the genuine progress of the equality and also the equity building of Black people. And he's speaking economics, right? He mentions economic progress. And he talks about jobs to lift people out of poverty. He talks about, hey, you know what? It's much easier for people to march and shout and to segregate buses versus putting their money where their mouth is. This is what he's talking about. So, again, Malcolm X also talked about the ballot or the bullet campaign. Remember that? People talk about, yeah, you know what? We're supposed to still be marching and we should still be, voting to create actual opportunity. They was past that. This was 11 months before he was assassinated. They already knew you're not going to get it that way. Give us the bread. Give us the bread, and also not only the bread, change the system. Because if you have the bread, but you still can't buy a house in an affluent neighborhood, and my child still can't go to a school that has the resources to gain proper education, where the teachers also have an education and they can teach what my student needs to know, why have the money? If I can't shop in the proper grocery stores with the good food, why have the money? So this is what he was talking about, man. Go ahead, bro. I don't want to hog all the airtime. Go ahead.
Man, King just a well-spoken brother. He takes his time when he speaks. Some people may think it comes off as preaching, but it's not. It's just really taking the time to formulate his thought and give it to you precise, where you ain't got no room to run, and you gotta listen to the point and dissect the point. King came to the realization that, man, you guys really tricked me. You really had me bamboozled. He in his heart of hearts, I do believe King felt, man, if we march, if we get some of these moral victories through the boycotting for the bus and just integrating with the schools, maybe things will change. But he realized, oh, you guys gave me those victories, but in the back of you guys' mind, you guys didn't want real change to come, and real change is having equal opportunity with jobs, housing, schools, in the workforce program. And
Yeah.
that's just something that we can really see to this day that's going on nowadays, that it's not equal opportunity, even though it can be dressed up and disguised as an equal opportunity. But if you look at the just the demographic of the jobs and how they're being distributed, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dr. King does a great job of me and bro. We talk about this all the time, bro. We talk about this all the time. When people are looking to actually, I don't know, for 4 to 5 years, for some reason, we've seen people who talk a lot and try to like push their whole resume on you in 10 minutes or over a 5-minute phone call, or tell you exactly who they are within a 2-minute conversation. We already know what you about, man. We already know. If you trying to tell me you this, you that, you this, you that, and through you talking to me for 5 minutes, I have no clue what you talking about. We already know you ain't at that level you trying to get to within this conversation. I'm not gonna respect you as that, especially because I know I've seen the example of people who talk very eloquently and precise and give you exactly what they're talking about with no type of ego behind them. You understand that this is a truthful man. This is a hurt man. This is a thoughtful man right here that can articulate his words. Also, you telling me you got this, or you gonna be rich, and you got two certifications that say this and say that. Man, bro, this is true. People understand true knowledge and true confidence and competence is in a calm man.
Hmm.
So
It's a fact, bro. That's a truth for your ass right there. You know, just be able to understand and process what's going on around you. And King, I feel like at this point in his life, he he had hit the pinnacle of understanding what was going on in with the civil rights movement. And the white folks ain't like that. Just plain and simple. They ain't like them coming into their truth. Because now it was time to teach us, like, okay, no, we gotta get the money. You gotta get the money. And in order for us to get the money, we ain't gonna get the money going to vote. They can give a damn about who you vote for because they control the system. If they're running the system, you can vote for Joe Blow. It don't matter. They're in control of that. But when you have the money, now you have a little more say so, and that's just a smart. And that's still just the tip of the iceberg because now you gotta be able to change the system so I can be able to buy property in this type of community or buy property in these type of high income neighborhoods so that my kid can go to the same school that your kid goes to.
Exactly. He said three things, bro. He said three things. And he said we can't get neither one without getting all three. He said the eradication of racism. He said economic equality. That means jobs, that means back pay, that means reparations, that means all that. And two, the military. He said, we can't have one without getting all three. And this how he was talking, man. He was giving us the game. So, you know, I mean, he could say it better than I can. We gonna get back to this, Brody. But man, like I want people to actually listen to these interviews. Listen for the words that he's actually trying to, get across to us and the meaning of his words.
Profound.
Very, very profound. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Do you think white people in this country, and I'm talking about non-segregationists, people devoid or thinking they're devoid of racism, do you have any idea of what they want the Negro to be in America?
Well, it depends on the level that we are talking here, because I think you have to make a distinction between the people who are genuinely and absolutely committed in the white community on the question of racial equality. And I must confess that I think they're in a very small minority. I think the vast majority of white Americans will go but so far. It's a kind of installment plan for equality, and they are always looking for an excuse to go but so far.
Why are they looking for the excuse? What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
That's a part of it, and that grows out of something else. You can't thingify anything without depersonalizing that something. If you use something as a means to an end, at that moment you make it a thing and you depersonalize it. The fact is that the Negro was a slave in this country for 244 years. That was a willful thing that was done. The Negro was brought here and changed, treated in very inhuman fashion. And this led to the thingification of the Negro. So he was not looked upon as a person. He was not looked upon as a human being with the same status and worth as other human beings. And the other thing is that human beings cannot continue to do wrong without eventually rationalizing that wrong. So slavery was justified morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma, and that can never be overlooked. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land are nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
I want to go back to, I believe it was, let me see. So there's something that he says here. He says, I think he says freedom and bondage at the same time. I think something like that. And I just want to replay it real quick. But he says, and I'm mute you, bro. He says, when he talks about stigma, and this kind of just like, I kind of just thought about this now. What America did to the black community and to black people, they personalized the images and aspects of what was unacceptable for economic freedom and social equalities. This is what I mean. This is what King is talking about right here. Being black, a certain hair texture, dressed in a certain way, certain types of education, living in certain neighborhoods, speaking a certain language. They personalized the image of social inequality, of economic trial and challenge, and placed that on black people from day one. So not only do people have to actually physically and literally get past social injustice and economic displacement, but they also have to get past the personalization of what being poor looks like, what being ugly looks like, what being dumb may represent to the people looking at it, right? They put a stigma on that. And that stigma was black people. It came in the form of black people. It shouldn't have. But America placed it on black people. So when you got white people, here's the kicker. You got white people who think they better than you, even if they not as intelligent than you, even if they don't have as much money as you, even if they not as smart as you, even if your clothes cost $300 and they wearing $3 shoes. It's the stigma. I hope y'all getting what he's saying. He's talking, man. He's talking. But go ahead, bro. I'm gonna see if I get to this this part. Go ahead.
Another point, man, that is just so powerful that people need to hear what King just said. He said, when you go through the history of black people, it's always something that makes white folks try to rationalize their BS. Whether it's 3/5 of a human being, or whether it's, oh, you guys sold yourself into slavery, or maybe it's, you're just not as smart as us. It's always trying to rationalize something that it's our fault that we're in this situation,
Right.
and that's farthest from the truth. So you gotta really pay attention to those and what he's saying, because in time, and as thing goes on, you will start as a people, as a black people, not speaking for Caucasians right now, but as black people, you will start to believe that, and that's where the self-hate comes in, and that's why you will see black people talking about, I mean, you too black, Oh no, man, he calling other people black. That's where that comes from, right there. Because over time, they have really just, 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 just pounded, hammer and nail that man, black is not good, black is
Right.
bad, black is ugly.
Right.
So that's why you start. That's why in your mind you start to think like that. The Mona Lisa is a man, but that was considered the prettiest woman ever at one time.
Crazy.
That was the stigma of beauty. But you would be a goddamn fool to look at the Mona Lisa right now, but that's nowhere near beauty because beauty has changed over the years. So just like with racism, they keep creating different ways to look at black people as being wrong instead of just finding different ways to having black people just being fair. Oh, we're not asking to get ahead. We're just asking for an equal playing field. That's it.
Yeah, and Dr. King, he was over the hey, what you portray me as, man. These are the facts. Y'all got this, and this. We want some back pay, man. We want this. We want legislation. We want acts of Congress. That's what we want. We want, social equality. We want economic freedom, true economic freedom and progress. We want governance. We want military. We want all these things that made y'all such a great superpower within a place that was not discovered by you first, where black people should be free here, who've done plenty of work. The Chinese worked on your railroads. Black people have done a substantial amount of progress for the American country. Also, besides fighting in the wars, also that when the veterans came back and the black people came back from fighting in the wars, they were not compensated with farmland and land. Aside from that, Dr. King also said, which I want to go back here to actually see if I can pull it up. It just escaped me. I want to say something, but let's see if I can actually find what I originally wanted to point to when he says pretty much like black people are in the midst of freedom and bondage in a way. I don't think bondage is the word that he used, but let me see here. I'm gonna take it back to 16.
Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time.
Okay, so this is what he said. My bad. He said freedom and famine at the same time. What he means by that, and man, this shot looked like he looking directly at me, bro. What it means is that black people were given pretty much like, all right, y'all free to like roam, but we not gonna give you shit. Like y'all not gonna be in chains. We not gonna whoop you for like not doing as we say, but pretty much y'all not gonna have nothing, so that y'all have to come back to us and work anyway. So freedom with famine is what he called it, bro. Freedom with famine.
Yep, freedom and famine at the same time. If I really, so that's this is why I say Abraham Lincoln. He freed the slaves. He's such a great man, right? But that great. I'm grateful that he freed the Negroes, right? I'm grateful for that. But he freed us into what? The Emancipation Proclamation is just to be let go of bondage. But that don't mean that I'm going to give you anything.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm going to equal the playing field. And once the chains got released, where I'm going to go now? I don't have a career. I don't have a car.
Right.
I don't have anything that food to feed my family, so I have to go back into the slave master. And you think that did his heart change? Did his heart change over time? Did it change in that one night, or was his heart still hardened? And he still had the same type of belief systems for the black men. And this is what MLK is just trying to say. We was let go of bondage, but we was let go right into the same system. They traded in their KKK mask for police suits.
Hmm.
They traded in, they traded in this in front of your face hate to backdoor hate. That's all. That's all it is. That's all it was, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy. Let's see if we can finish up here. Let's see if we finish up. We had just got like 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
Apart from wanting to live better, which all of us want to do, to raise one's children in a better way, to be better, does the Negro in America know what he wants to be?
I'm convinced that almost every Negro in this country, other than those who have been so scarred by the system that they've become pathological in the process, and we all have to battle with pathology. Nobody really knows what it means to be a Negro unless one can really experience it. And I know we all have to battle with this constant drain of a feeling of nobodiness. But in spite of this, I think the vast majority of Negroes in this country know that they want to be people, they want to be men, they want equality, period. It just boils down to that. And we haven't been able to be people. We haven't been men because of all of the conditions that we've lived with and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding conditions, whether it's in housing, in the economic area, or in schools, or in the vicious credit practices that we face in the ghetto, and all of the problems of closed doors and constant defeats. But in spite of all this, I think we all know, basically, that we want to be men. We want to be persons judged not on the basis of the color of our skin, but on the basis of the content of our character.
Now, for those of people who start to get confused when he's throwing in 3-4 syllable words, when he talks about pathological challenges, he's talking about disease of the mind. Did he blame that on black people? No, he did not. What he just talked about, he blamed it on the conditions of the society in which they live in. That's what he blamed it on. He said that black people have not been able to be people. They have not been able to actually exist as normal human beings within the functioning society that is equal. That's what he said. For people who, and I'm not blaming people, man. This what I'm not blaming anybody, because what I've learned is that life is too grandiose and there are too many things to go on for me to put the responsibility of what I know on somebody else. That's just unfair. So what I'm gonna do is when we got a great talking and he throw in a couple words, I'm gonna help translate to the people that's on my level, and hopefully that somebody watch this video, they help translate to somebody that's on the level, and so on and so forth. So forth. At the end of the day, what he is saying is extremely clear, and he's not egotistical or boastful about it. You know, damn near I say bashful. Definitely respectful to the interviewer. Allowed him to finish all kind of stuff, man. Everything. Go ahead, bro.
Man, you put it in great words right there. Growing up in conditions where you have to survive, and you're not growing up in conditions just strictly based off love, it's going to show. And that's just all King was getting at. When you have to live in conditions where survival, you have to have a survivor's mentality. It's almost like you're in a war. You're not going to have the same mindset or the same thought process as a person that's growing up in a place with sunshine, roses, parks, and playgrounds, and good food, good nurturing. It's not going to have the same mindset. You're going to have a different mindset, and that's all King is trying to get at right there.
Yeah. All right, let's see him finish him out.
But you know that many young Negroes don't want anything that smacks of the American white middle class. But do they want something that smacks of whatever is the black middle class? Or do they just not want bourgeois values, which after all are the basis of this democracy?
Well, I think we have to see what they are saying. I would be the first to agree that integration does not mean giving up everything that has an Afro-American taint, so to speak, a background. I think there are certain unique things within any culture and certain cultural patterns that when you get to the process of amalgamation can really lift the whole culture. And it seems to me that integration at its best is the opportunity to participate in the beauty of diversity. I think the other thing that we've got to see is that these young people are saying that.
Before he gets there, I know that was short, but he said a lot right there. He used the word amalgamation, which that's a big ass word. To be honest, I had to look it up. I ain't gonna lie to you when when I watched the first time. I had to look it up. Okay, pretty much two parties or two groups of people coming together in agreement. He said when people can come together within agreement, they can realize how much beautiful, how beautiful an existence that can be. And also they'll begin to realize the advantages of integration and what diversity can bring to the community and, dare I say, the world itself. Everyone knows in business, when it comes to diversity, diversity brings in more money. Businesses know this. So when you hear businesses say, "Oh, we don't want black people wearing our clothes," you know it's more. It's more to do than just about money. Because if it was about money, hey, come on, come on. So he said that's what he said right there. I hope people are catching it, but that's what he said right there.
that there must be a revolution of values in our country. As Jimmy Baldwin said on one occasion, what advantage is there in being integrated into a burning house? And I feel that there is a need for a revolution of values in America, because some of the values that presently exist are certainly out of line with the values and the idealistic structure that brought our nation into being. Unfortunately, we haven't been true to these ideals, and many of the values of so-called white middle-class society are values that need to be reviewed and re-evaluated, and in a real sense, they need to be changed. So I think the young people in the Negro community who are raising these questions are raising some very profound questions about our total society. In other words, they are saying that there must be a restructuring of the architecture of our society where values are concerned. And with this, I would agree with. So in the quest for integration, I think we can offer our whole nation something, because there are three evils in our nation. It's not only racism, but economic exploitation of poverty would be one, and then militarism. And I think in a sense, and in a very real sense, these three are tied inextricably together, and we aren't going to get rid of one without getting rid of the other.
When you stood on the Lincoln Memorial that day in August, '63, and you said, "I had a dream," did that dream envision that you could see a war in Asia preventing the federal government doing for the Negroes, preventing the society doing for the Negroes that which you think had to be done?
No, I didn't envision that then. I must confess that that period was a great period of hope for me. And I'm sure for many others all across the nation, many of the Negroes who had about lost hope, saw a solid decade of progress in the South. And in 1954, which was, 64, 1963, 9 years after the Supreme Court's decision to be in the March on Washington, meant a great deal. It was a high moment, a great watershed moment. But I must confess that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation.
Dr. King.
I'm gonna let him finish. I mean, whew, man, go ahead, bro.
Man, look, King had some words for your ass right there. Did you people? Did you hear him? You know, he said, I must confess. I gotta keep it real with you. I
Right,
was tripping.
right. In other
I
words,
thought I could
in
just
other,
I thought I could just be all love. I thought I could just lead with love and lead with kindness. I really wanted to believe that, but sadly, over the years, it's been gut wrenching. He said it hurt
he
his
said
soul.
it was agony.
It hurt his
Yeah, it hurt him.
soul.
It hurt him.
It
Yeah,
was agonizing. You know what I'm saying? It was agonizing to realize that that's just not the case with you
that's not
people.
gonna get it
And
done.
until we get into the foundation of this bullshit, until we get into the real foundation, the structural foundation of this government, and really overthrow the hypocrisy of yes, all we hold these truths to be evident that all men are created equal, because we would love to believe that, but once you get inside the true essence of the problem, he realized that wasn't the case, and we are a long ways away to true equality, to true justice. Man, his words were profound, and it kind of hurts to even realize that, to know that he was near death at this moment, because when he was at his truth, now his demise was coming, shortly down the line, and it just goes to show you how cruel, cold, and calculated America is, because they'll let you, as long as you're singing about love, praise, and oh my God, we want to integrate, we want to become one with you guys. It was all cool, but once he realized, man, you guys are giving me small victories, but we're losing this war right now. And he's like, you know what? Can we get equal funding? Can our kids really have a great education? Can we live in the good neighborhoods with you guys? And they say, oh no, sir, you asking for a little bit too much. Put a bullet in his head.
Right. It's not laughing matter, but it's man, bro. Like essentially, that's what they said. They said, look, you ask for a little bit too much, you gotta go. You gotta go. And I put this up. Go ahead, bro. What you say? My bad. Go ahead.
I said that's crazy. That's what make it just it's asinine. Goddamn.
It's sad, bro. And I feel Dr. King, bro. Dr. King, he one of them ones. He is like, bro, like I put this up. A lot of you may not know why I just put this up right now, right? AB7 News, right? Martin Luther King. One of the quotes from Martin Luther King: darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. You see the same narrative they pushing? Nothing. I mean, he said a whole lot more than what y'all talking about right here. He said a whole lot more than what y'all talking about right here. You keep saying he's talking about love and light. Y'all got him with the purple and the flowers and all that. Bro, like, come on, bro. Come on. Please. Please, let's not do this. I'm tired. And here go my comment right here. Kodo the Great. I said, this cool, but what about the other things he talked about? He wanted the implementation of true progress, not just love and light. These just facts, man. And here you go, mainstream, with the purple flowers, like he couldn't harm nobody. He you know what I'm saying? He's great, and we recognize him, but he was you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I feel like we don't have a federal day for Malcolm X. Because Malcolm X, right at the gate, he was pushing. He made his tone a bit more diplomatic in the end, but he understood what the motives was, especially once, what happened to him with the, you know what I'm saying, the organization. I don't even want to say their name because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You see how they did him. I don't want them walking up on me. But, this is crazy, man. This is crazy, bro. I'm about to play this last little bit. I think we got 3 minutes left, and then we gonna close it out.
even if there had not been a war in Asia, would you still not have had this nightmare insofar as the Negro movement for equality then touched on two things that the white community holds sacred, their children and their property?
Oh, I have no doubt that we would have encountered great difficulties, great problems of resistance if the war had not been in existence. So that I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended. But I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war, it loses its social perspective, and programs of social uplift suffer. This is just a fact of history, so that we do face many more difficulties as a result of the war. It's much more difficult to really arouse a conscience during a time of war. I noticed the other day, some weeks ago, a Negro was shot down in Chicago, and it was a clear case of police brutality. That was on page 30 of the paper, but on page 1 at the top was 780 Viet Cong killed. That is something about a war like this that makes people insensitive. It dulls the conscience. It strengthens the forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness and hatred and violence. And it strengthened the military-industrial complex of our country, and it's made our job much more difficult, because I think we can go along with some programs, if we didn't have this war on our hands, that would cause people to adjust to new developments, just as they did in the South. They said they'd never ride the bus with us. Blood would flow in the streets. They wouldn't go to school and all of these things. But when people came to see that they had to do it because the law insisted, they finally adjusted. And I think white people all over this country will adjust once the nation makes it clear that in schools and housing, we've got to learn to live.
Dollar bill, y'all. Yeah, man.
Gotta pay to play. You gotta pay to play. If no change can come without us just talking about it, preaching about it, praying about it. It gotta be some action, and the action gotta be a dollar sign behind it, man.
For
It's
real.
just that simple.
It's just that simple.
It's just that simple. It don't get more simple than that. You know, the projects were created. These conditions were created, and they were created. They can be undone, and simply it takes. It's going to take a dollar, and it's going to take some removing of people, and and some cleansing of the minds of some people that's been polluted with just ignorance, like you say now. Right now, what's plaguing our black community is drill music and just death. It's like a sport now, and it's ridiculous to see how far that we've moved back in just the trajectory of the black mind. But in time and with the right circumstances and the right profits, and when I say profits, I'm not talking about preachers, I'm talking about money profits that can come into the community and really make a difference. And we can see that difference, not just talk about difference, really actually see it, see the change, seeing certain buildings and projects being put together for our kids so they can go to after school programs, because we don't see any of that going on right now. Now it's just a lot of ignorance going on in our community, and the drill culture has made it to the radio. They'll be talking about stop the violence, and then the next song will be kill people.
Yeah.
It's not making sense right now. So until we can start really come together as a people and start making these things make sense for us and for the future of our kids, we're going to continue to be in the same situation that we're in, and Dr. King will have died for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those people in the back, you must understand something, as we round this thing out. A lot of people don't understand the overall message. The overall message behind things. So Dr. King, in the end, he talked about how the dollar bill is at the forefront. Look, y'all was good when we was integrating. Of course, y'all put up some resistance, but once y'all seen the impact of the dollar, y'all was fine with it. You know, to be honest, it made y'all more money. Is what he was saying. It made y'all more money. We understand diversity makes people more money, but now that it's gonna cost y'all something. The retribution, the true reparations for black people and their suffering for being underrepresented, disenfranchised, marginalized. We get all that. Now it's just time for y'all to pay. Y'all don't want to do it because it's going to cost y'all billions. He said that billions. It's probably trillions now because that was 50 years ago, 50, 60 years ago. Y'all act like the people that couldn't afford equal housing died off. The Fair Housing Act was just passed in 1968. People still alive from that time period. I have no clue what some people are smoking. Like that's back in the day. No, that day is now. So please, you missed me with that. Man, give us our bread, man. Give us our bread. Just give us the money. We don't want to hear about none of that. Some of these black people, older black people especially, because he talked about the young people, the young revolutionists. The young people that's just trying, and we got to stop trying to make people who aren't, bro, they put that tag of revolutionary or activist on you. You know, they tag you with being extremely negative or hostile or abrasive. Man, these people just trying to live good lives, man. Dr. King just trying to live a good life, galvanize the people, have some sort of kindness and good willingness towards his family so that they can live a prosperous life. That's what he was trying to do. Don't put no activist tag on me. I could do better for my people alive than I can be dead. I'm the protagonist. I ain't no activist, nigga. You ain't gonna get me killed, man. For real. So we about to get up out of here, but that's the main thing that we want to portray. And don't let these older black people fool you. Don't let people talking about nothing, talking about it's more. Look, no, it's about the dollar. I've been alive 32 years, and I haven't seen much change in the Austin area. Down Jackson, down North Avenue, down Chicago Avenue. I go on Cicero, go on Kersey, go over there. It looked the exact same it looked when I was a kid, man. How much longer you gonna let these people fool you? This is by design. Stop the BS. It's by design. You don't want us to hide nothing because you don't want us to hide. It's because you don't want us to have nothing. That's what it is. It ain't about nothing else.
It's just that simple. You don't want us to have nothing because you just don't want us to have it. It ain't about because Bray Ray and Pookie just shot somebody right there. It ain't about because Fun and Quan somebody just got robbed right there. You just don't want us to have it.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. We want change to come, and the only way we can get change is we can get the income behind that change. And shout out to Martin Luther King, shout out to Malcolm X, shout out to all the black Huey P. Fred Hampton, all the black leaders that really did their thing and put their best foot forward and died for it, for our people. But we still have a job to do as a black community, and we still can do that job if we just take heed and understand that it's gonna take the dollar. It's gonna take the dollar. I'm cool. We can add the prayer behind it as well, but we gonna need the dollar first and foremost.
Yeah, King said, man, I'm still faithful. I still stay prayed up. But at the end of the day, man, it hurt me to say this. I had to come to the conclusion that, hey, that's not gonna get it done. What I'm doing right now is not gonna get it done. And once he realized that, he was smoked.
Man, sad reality. That's the truth for your ass. Once he realized, look, it hurts my soul to say I think I done led my people into a burning building.
Yeah, he was hurt. It took him about 20 seconds to get it out. He told you he was hurt for about 20 straight seconds.
No, man, it hurt my heart to say. It hurts me to say. Until we get some equal playing fields with the money aspect, then we're gonna always be behind. So we gotta get the money. We ain't just talking about get the money for one person. We ain't talking about just one. We ain't talking about one billionaire. We talking about building wealth for a community, so everybody can have a couple $100,000 in their pocket. Everybody can flourish.
Yeah. We We need them reparations, man. We don't just need 1 or 2 people getting bread and you push them people in front of us and we just see 1 or 2 people with millions of dollars. We see 10 people with millions of dollars. If there ain't no, if God not gonna come down and sprinkle everybody's mindset with what they supposed to have so that we got millionaires coming into the communities, because people got millions of dollars, billions of dollars. I think we only got a couple billionaires, 3 billionaires. Tell me how many billionaires white people got. You know what I'm saying? Mic drop, exactly, right? So unless the mindset changes and people come in, if you put $10 million in the bank today off of 5% interest, you can make over $800,000 in interest every year. If I'm a millionaire or if I'm a billionaire, how come I can't take that money that I just make off interest or half of it and put it into a poor community? Put $400,000 into a poor community every year for a community center so that they always have food. They always got somebody. right. Hey, mother's gonna get popped if they do that. I'm just saying, it's not a rocket science equation, bro. Things are happening by design. Period, man. Period, bro.
It's just that simple, man. We just seen it. It's not like we making these things up. Go through the history books. Go through the history books. When people try to really extend their hand to help, for some odd reason, they just end up poof. They vanish.
Yeah.
Man, look.
Y'all gave Native Americans casinos, right? And
plenty of
and black people done put in plenty of free labor, man. Plenty of this and that, plenty of science behind y'all inventions and discoveries. Henrietta Lacks. We go on and on. The goddamn traffic light. Before I forget, bro, y'all keep talking about these vaccines, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm just pouring you things that's coming to mind right now, right? We talk about the vaccinations. Now, vaccinations is a cleaner, more controlled form over generations of actually implementing processes to help push the actual experimentation version of vaccinations along. So this now a standard process. But when we talk about inoculation, variolation is a form of inoculation. And stay with me. Variolation is a form of inoculation. Inoculation is when they give you a little bit of the disease so that you could become immune to it, okay? So there was a black slave in West Africa who was inoculating people, right? The first time he did it was with variolation, which is a form of smallpox where they'll take, a scab or like a little small thing of pus. They'll make an incision inside of a healthy person, give him a little probably about a minuscule measured amount. These were empirical processes done. This wasn't no mystical BS. I got the books on it. A black man, a slave from West Africa, used a process called variolation, which is a form of inoculation. He'll take a small incision from a healthy person, right? They'll make a small incision in a healthy person, get a scab or a small thing of pus from a person who has a smallpox, put it inside of the person with the open incision, and monitor the person for a few days. As the person grows to become more healthy, as they gain some sort of symptoms from the smallpox disease, they gain long-term immunity. This is a form of inoculation. Western civilization, United States, they didn't know about this until that black man introduced it to them from West Africa. This is nothing but facts. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So when you talk about science, you talk about biology, you're talking about physiological aspects of the human body. When you talk about metaphysics, you talk about governance and law. These things were performed and brought forth through empirical processes. We want to act like people just did things just because they, performed magic in Africa, or they walked around in clothes that barely covered them. We know this. There's another tribe in Africa. I think in the 1900s. I believe in the 1900s. Not too long ago. It's on YouTube. They went to the tribe. A scientist he went to him. He said, hey, you know, you guys don't have telescopes. How do you study astrology? He said, hey, you know what? As an astronomer, this is the black guy in Africa. As an astronomer, we use certain methods of life to actually measure what we could possibly see out of space. Not only that, we use practical song and dance to memorize what we want the students to actually replicate through practice. And the guy told him, as far as, you know, the stars that are out, and again, I'm not an astronomer. I'm not, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson. But he told him, the scientist, the white guy, he said, the black man told me about Sirius A, a star that you cannot see with the naked eye. He said Sirius A possibly could have been just a coincidental guess. But he said the black man told him about Sirius B also. These are stars out light years away. Told him about those two they're not dwarf planets, but two stars, right? Two light years away. And they talk about Sirius A and Sirius B because they think communication is coming from it. These are all facts. So I want us to please, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but please, man, there's so much to know and so much that we don't know. And fuck all that. Fuck the aliens, man. Where the money at? That's what I got to say to end it, bro. You got anything?
Man, look, we got to get the money because the money can create a change. We got to stay committed to change. We got to stay committed to the process. We can't get frustrated or flabbergasted, or, you know, you got to stay away from getting hood. We tricked, bamboozled. We got to stay away from those things, man. We got to empower each other, and we got to empower each other through profits, through earnings, through making things happen. Yes, you know, hope is still alive and well. Yes, we can still pray. Yes, we can still go to church. But, you know, faith without works is dead, and we got to put in an ample amount of work. That's just mandatory. It's nothing that's going to happen if we don't put the work and profits behind it. Mainly profits.
Yeah, man. Phenomenal show. We're going to get up out of here, man. In this simulation, provide a demonstration to the higher power showing who you are. Only then do we soar across the pages of life. Until next time, please levitate.